everybody. Today is day one of camp. It's actually a really nice day so far. Very pretty. I'm staying in the camp accommodation and there's like 3 of us in here and then 2 of us in the rooms, but we all kind of use the house part, which is this. This is like I'll do a little tour of the accommodation in a minute. But yeah, it's really nice. We're all on site. This is the first time I've like stayed somewhere where Rosie is. Does that make any sense? Like stayed where she is living for the weekend. Because obviously normally I drive to wherever, but I'm just gonna wander down to the yard now. It's 7:30 and I think lessons kick off from 8:30. My first session is at 10:45 with Maddie. I have a dressage lesson, then I have a jump lesson at 1, and then I have an unmounted, like, we don't know what it is yet, but an unmounted session in the afternoon. And then we have a demo this evening by another rider to watch, and then we have a meal. So lots planned, busy day. This is the dining room, living room. I think there might be someone still asleep, so I'm gonna be really quiet through here. Got my own bathroom, and then I have 2 beds. Yeah, and then this is what I'm wearing today. I've got my Lasso Equestrian Storm Grey leggings. Under this I have my Lasso Equestrian black base layer. I have my Mare grey gilet, just a black hoodie, and some socks. Quite a long walk down to the stable. So this is our like accommodation, or it's actually kind of just up there and down round. That's my room. And then there's more accommodation, more, and then there's all more around here. It's like the prettiest place to have a camp, and they don't really have any horses on site. I mean, they have another stable block there that's just empty, and that's obviously the big indoor arena which attaches, like the stables are attached to. This is the next stable block. Just imagine being on a yard with this kind of arena. Hello! Caught on camera. Just taking her out hand grazing here, and I've realised there's mini apples everywhere. So now all she's doing is stopping grazing and scouring the ground for apples. I'm gonna see if we can move up a bit, Rose, because we don't need to stand here and eat apples all day. Come on. You've had 3 now, that's plenty of apples. There's an apple everywhere, it's probably a bit bitter. It hasn't been stabled overnight since obviously April. Yeah, start of April. So, bit of a change this morning, Rosie, isn't it? You're not gorging yourself on food all night. She doesn't look any skinnier for it. Actually, it's literally about 6 degrees. In the UK, 2 weeks ago, it was about 32 degrees, and I literally need gloves. My hands are so cold, they're going red. Literally clear blue skies. It's just like absolutely freezing. But this is the outdoor arena where we will have our first lesson. It's very quiet, which I really like, because it's got, like, they can't look any further. There's so much grass. It's now about 9. Rosie has been mucked out, had a net, had a hand graze for half an hour. Just coming back up to get my own breakfast, and then I'm going to watch Michelle jump. I'm going to take it down there, not eat it up here. Slightly random selections. I have one of these because it's quite convenient. I have a smoothie, and then I have an apple and an orange in my pocket, and then I have coffee, which I'm going to grab some milk. We also have loads of wine, but snacks. Most importantly. What do I want? No. I wanted to actually do a voiceover of my lesson, and this was the first one of camp. And you have to bear in mind with this entire weekend, this was Rosie's first time schooling in probably 2 months since she'd injured her SI. And if you don't know, watch the first part of this camp vlog, day 1, because I explain a bit more about her then. But basically this was her first time schooling since then, so you can see she's quite weak. And basically our main goal was to have her forwards and in a rhythm. That was the only goal. We stripped it right back down to basics. Doesn't matter what her head's doing, because in order to get any kind of contact and her into a contact, she needs to be strong enough behind, and at the moment she wasn't. So the main focus was get her forward, get her enjoying it again.
Super,
I was
Molly,
advised still at this time not to do any 20-metre circles. So you can see most of the time we're going either large or diagonally. So that's why we weren't really doing any circles. We did a few later on, but it was advised to kind of keep the 20-metre circles and stuff to a minimum, just because when you're on that circle is when it's quite hard for them to step under themselves when the pelvis is rotating, which is why our main focus of this session was asking her to slowly start to really use that, because she was basically cleared to say that she was healed. It was just rebuilding the strength, so we weren't straining the ligament again. But you can see slowly starting to ask her to move her body into the corner rather than go around each corner like a square. But yeah, I was so happy with her, and I then went and grabbed myself coffee and a bit of brownie and watched some pole work sessions before it was my turn to jump. There was a bit longer of a gap than what you just saw. I had lunch and everything in between. I didn't just like take her out of one thing and put her into the next. She had a good few hours downtime. But yeah, then we went into jumping. You just wait. You just wait. Then onto pole work / jumping. So we were very lucky that the instructor we had was so lovely and really helped me kind of like accommodate the stuff to Rosie. Everything was, you know, a little bit more adaptive for her, and we just kind of let her use herself over the poles and just listen to me, really was the idea. And then she got all a little bit tight, so I ended up saying to him, can I just take her down like a small grid? So here's her absolutely flying. It was just the perfect thing after she got in a little bit tight doing the poles and doing her morning session to just let her have a bit of fun and just blast down them. She loves it. I then spent some time watching some lessons. This was Lou and Alf, and Rosie just had downtime eating from here on out. And then we went into the evening demo.
Yeah. But he's now starting to think forward. And doesn't he make a nicer shape then? Yeah. Lovely. You might not see it, and also, unless it's the same judge, the same venue, and exactly the same setup, how is it ever comparable? Which never is. Before you let someone else's influence come in, assess it yourself. You're not there for everybody else. No, you're there on your own journey, right? Yeah. You're there on your own journey. My last competition I went to, I thought quite a lot of my little man.
I mean, that's an understatement.
No, but I mean,
He says I've come out in my sparkles, I was here to impress. Rosie? Hi! You're very noisy. So everyone, it is morning 2. I've got coffee. Just left the house. I'm gonna go sort Rosie out. Not as nice of a morning, to be very honest. It is rather cloudy and a bit rainy, but my first session this morning is in the indoor. Chunk, what are you doing? You go home tonight? Hand grazing this morning. She is covered in poo, but the second she goes fully grey, not going to be a fun time for me. And weirdly, I know a lot of horsey people watch this, so she's obviously grey, but she will go white, completely white, although that's not what we call it in horse terms. So yes, that is what I mean when I say she'll go grey, because you're probably looking and thinking I'm colourblind. Where are you going? Going on a wander? That's it, get that bum moving, hun, with your massive... right. Get some hay, shall we? So, did the horse this morning. She has been mucked out, she's got hay, water. First session is at 9, so I've got all my stuff all packed, ready to go down. I'm gonna eat breakfast whilst I watch the lesson before me. And then jump on, ride Rosie for that lesson. And then I've got about an hour. So again, I'll just sit and watch because the dressage is in the indoor school today.
Impulsion comes from the sheep.
So this is all I plan to do.
I'm a race pony.
Actually, if you put her in a Shetland Grand National,
the Shetland Grand National.
I think she'd really enjoy it.
I'm really joking last night about getting.
I forgot you said that.
That's on her video. I have to mute that out.
Look at her, yeah. Look at that trot.
That is thinking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Rosie.
I then wanted to include here some videos of me riding her in my most recent lesson with Maddie. So this was just at the end of December. And yeah, you can see she's looking so much stronger in that hind end. And now we're just kind of working on making sure she sits back and up rather than pulls me down. You can see she gets a bit heavy on the forehand just because that is easier for her. So now we're just making sure she is using that hind end, but she's just so much stronger. We still have a very long way to go. Well done. But the difference in just over those 2 months is incredible, and she's just doing really, really well. So I wanted to include this just so you can see the progress after this injury and yeah, how much stronger she is now, really. It's going to be a little bit cold, just so you know. Yeah. Wash you off a bit sweaty. You done, Rosie? You finished for the day? Get rid of all this. So me and Michelle are on our way back to McDonald's, which is a necessary stop after the weekend. Made it home. Rosie's very happy to be home. Just put her in her stable for a few minutes and she ate her breakfast, but she'd helped herself by that point, so too late. She's worked very hard for me. Oh, Rosie, you've got a hay bale in here, babe. You're going up in the world. In a different field tonight. She's normally over there and normally doesn't have a hay bale. And he's like, my girlfriend's here. And here goes Rosie. Wait, dude, let's take that off your head. So Rosie's gone to the girls. Arnie's absolutely fuming. She completely ignored him.